The next article comes from What Will It Take for You to Hire More? This is from the Des Moines Register, the Sunday, March 6th Des Moines Register. And several people, business people in the Des Moines community weighed in. I'm not going to go through their exact commentary, but it is an interesting read, and I recommend that if you missed it, that you might go online and pick that up and see what it looks like from the small business side or the corporate side, and then also see how that relates to the labor side of things, since labor has had quite a lot of interest in the paper lately. Alright, so this next article comes from the Monday, March 7th Wall Street Journal. And it's Economics, Creating Environmental Capital. That issue of the Wall Street Journal had quite a lot of information dealing with much that we've spoken on in past shows here at Blue.Green.Fusion. So I'll start with the first article. With economies still weak and China pushing hard to dominate growing industries such as wind and solar power, clean energy innovation is emerging as a new front in the global economic fight. And this all came out at the Wall Street Journal's annual conference on the business of the environment. So dominating that discussion was talk of China, who's apparently grabbing clean technology market share, not because of its cheap labor, executives at the conference said, but through strong mandates and subsidies to build a new export industry. And so, again, as I've always stated from the very beginning of the show, economic policy, or policy in general, drives clean energy and renewable energy. China figured that out pretty quickly, and then implemented that vision, and so that's how they became so strong and renewable. In solar power, the U.S. is neither, quote, the largest in manufacturing, nor the largest market. And this is according to Mark Pinto. He's the Executive Vice President of Applied Materials from California. And according to him, that's very unusual. The U.S. is in danger of losing entire supply chains and the human capital that goes with it. This is a warning from Andrew Liveris, Chief Executive of Dow Chemical. To some, the Obama administration's stimulus spending on everything from wind turbines to electric car batteries was enlightened. To others, it was bloated. And we'll see some opinions about that deeper in the articles. As governments and companies place their bets, perhaps the biggest unknown is which technologies will win. And so this entire section deals with that issue. In fact, one of the articles, 4 problems and solutions, I'll show the 4 people who address those right here. Okay, so Angelina Jaspers talked about how to drive change. John Compton addressed, should you market green? David Lawrence addressed choosing technologies, and then William Tyndall addressed how to deal with regulators. And so that information is available. I do recommend going online to get a look at that article if you have a library close by, to look at that article and see the correlation between business and clean technology.
I know you think I'm a pretty good reader. I appreciate that. But wait. I want every Democratic senator in the crowd to raise your hands, raise them high, and wave them high. You can't be a bad leader with these kind of senators behind you. I got to tell you, I am so proud of how we're sticking together as a team. It's a team. Now I'd also like to ask, are there House members in the audience? Will you wave your hands? You know, those guys worked all night last week to try and slow this bill down in the House. I am so proud of my own Senate Democratic team, of my House Democratic team, but you know what I'm really proud of? I'm really proud of the team that's in this room. We are your neighbors.
There's also another article, and it's called, Is China Winning? Right there. And so we did have people weigh in on that. We've talked about China many times on the show in terms of renewable energy, manufacturing, and market share. And so this is how the Wall Street Journal conference addressed that issue. They spoke to several people, including Louis Chenervert, Chairman and CEO of United Technologies. According to Chenervert, a big driving force is that you've got a lot of urbanization movement in China, which drives all these new cities to be built. Because you build everything new, it's easier to do it with the latest technology. And I would say the pressure from the government to adopt some of these latest technologies is pretty substantial. He also talked to Mr. Murray, and this is the Wall Street Journal's Alan Murray who asked the questions. Mark, you made a decision not long ago, and this is Mark Pinto of Applied Materials. Mark, you made a decision long ago to relocate from Silicon Valley to China. Is that because you agree with what John Doerr said, that there is a sense that the clean tech area, China is, in the clean tech area, China is winning? Mr. Pinto responded, no, I wouldn't say that. We make manufacturing equipment for semiconductors, flat panel displays, and now energy and solar. What we certainly see is that most of the manufacturing is in Asia. That sounds like yes to me. Okay, so Alan Murray goes on, how much is solar? This year, over 80% of our solar business will be in China. Most of the panels are being built and then shipped to Europe, some to the U.S., but Europe is the biggest end market. So the United States is not only being passed by in terms of manufacturing, but then also in terms of market, because they're not shipping the majority of that to us, they're shipping it to Europe. And since it's an emerging market, a future market, markets of the future, the direction in which energy is trending, we shouldn't be kind of disturbed by it. I really hope we are. Alright, so Alan Murray goes on to ask, how important was government policy in terms of you being able to get your foothold? And he's talking about China's government policy. Could you, for instance, have done the same thing in the U.S.? Dr. Shi responds, the reason for that is because the Chinese government streamlined the policy of supporting innovation for this new energy industry that really supported supply chain development in China. If we move to the U.S. or anywhere, if it is without a supply chain, we are not going to be competitive. So supply, 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 which means manufacturing, 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 is very, very important in terms of staying competitive. China made clear determination once they understood that to follow through. And it's unfortunate that we do spend a lot of time in the United States clashing over personality, clashing over social issues, clashing over values, rather than recognizing business as the route to sustainability.